You are looking at a shot of Joint Base Andrews where 33-year-old Los Angeles-based ballerina Ksenia Karelina, she will soon touch down on American soil after being wrongfully detained in a Russian prison for more than a year. Now, last year, Ksenia was arrested in Russia, charged and convicted of treason, sentenced to 12 years in a maximum security prison. Why? She donated $51 to a charity for Ukraine. No good deed goes unpunished. Well, look, Cuomo has been covering this story from day one, and he promised to give her boyfriend, former boxing champ Chris Van Heerden, promised to give him a platform until they brought home the love of his life. So today is the amazing day.
The fear is what they're telling us. Possible 20 years in prison. One moment she's very hopeful, and the very next she's telling me she's preparing for the fate might be that she might be in there for the rest of her life. I don't know. I'm confused. I'm lost, and this woman is losing hope. The thought of her going to actual Russian prison, this woman, will she survive? I don't know.
Absolutely gut-wrenching. Well, look, joining me now is former Marine Paul Whelan, who spent more than 5 years in a Russian prison after being wrongfully detained and charged with espionage. He was released just last summer, and he joins me now. Paul, absolutely great to see you. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Governor. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Now, you said you weren't surprised to hear that Ksenia had been released. Talk a little bit about that. Why not?
Well, she hadn't committed a very serious crime, and we had arrested a Russian who was dealing in electronic parts used for military equipment in Ukraine, the war there. That sort of person is who Putin wants back. So when you have someone who is wrongfully detained on a minor charge, especially when it's ludicrous, those are the sorts of people that Russia will offer up in order to get back a big fish. And in this case, that's what they did. You know, this was a deal that the CIA and the FSB put together. And, you know, luckily it worked. And I'm glad another American is home safe.
Now, talk to me. You're one of the very few people on this planet that can give us at least some perspective of maybe what she's going through. She's going to land hopefully within the next hour or so. What's going through her mind? What is that like when you're on a plane, you know you're about to come back to American soil? Is it joy? Is it elation? Is there fear? Is there uncertainty?
Well, you know, she is Russian and she speaks Russian. She's familiar with the culture. So, you know, even with that in mind, she was in a horrible prison. She was in a horrible place, not knowing what would happen to her. A 12-year sentence seems like a 20 or 30-year sentence when you're serving it. She's left basically the third world, and she's coming back to the first. So as she's being transferred, as you see now, by the FSB to our people, you know, she's going to have to get used to living in the first world. It's going to be a shock. She'll have normal food. She'll speak with medical personnel on the CIA plane bringing her home. And then she'll get to Andrews, and she'll start meeting all kinds of people, and she'll be exposed to the media, and it'll be a whirlwind for the first few days. You know, from Andrews, she'll go down to the Brooke Army Medical Center for medical tests and things like that, and then next door to Joint Base San Antonio, where she can spend a couple of weeks just reintegrating and getting used to being in the United States, eating real food, taking care of any medical problems she might have, and you know, just enjoying life again.
So, Paul, let's talk about that reintegration, because I got to tell you, I think your story is amazing. It's incredibly compelling in terms of what happened after you got here. I've seen a lot of interviews with you, a lot of discussion. You're effectively, and at times, have to rely on the kindness of others, having trouble getting health care. Some of these, I mean, are real-world challenges. You wouldn't expect someone who, frankly, lands as a hero in America, that, you know, theoretically, Americans should be standing up and helping, taking care, and making sure that there's a path. Talk a little bit about some of the unexpected challenges that you had when you got here as you look to kind of reassimilate and get a normal life again.
Well, you know, the CIA did a lot to get me back. The State Department did a lot. And when I was finally back in United States, the Army did a lot at Brooke Army, and then Army South did a whole lot for me in San Antonio. But after that, I was basically on a plane home, and that's when, you know, the government kind of says goodbye, and you're on your own. In the state of Michigan, I didn't qualify for any benefits, no medical care, no unemployment. When I tried to gain medical care. I got a letter back that said I couldn't have any services because I wasn't a U.S. citizen. I mean, that's ludicrous. I had help getting my driver's license back. Debbie Dingell, a congresswoman, helped me with that. And Jocelyn Benson, our Secretary of State in Michigan, got that taken care of. But, you know, at the end of the day, the Hostage Recovery Act, which provides, you know, for medical care, psychological care, physical training, things like that, it isn't funded. So there's nothing that the federal government does, and it's really up to the state governments. And if the state governments don't have laws that can kind of fit into the hostage situation, you're out on your own. And you know, I'm using a GoFundMe account right now and living off the kindness of strangers as I do a lot of this advocacy work, trying to get the aftercare for hostages returning improved.
Hey, thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget, click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.